I just listened to Lisa Cabrera's coverage of Jonathan Major's guilty verdict or whatever. Listened to a couple other videos, but that one stood out to me because I knew she would. I knew the direction it would go. It was the usual, the underlying that low broiling contempt, right? The covert misandry at its best and whatnot. It's the whole thing about oh, shouldn't have been trusting that white woman and shit. Shouldn't have been trusting that white woman. Yeah, we're gonna hear a lot of that shit. All right, Jason Black did a video on it too, and there were some elements of that shit in there that I heard that I shouldn't have been trusting that white woman. But then they said, oh, Jason went took it one step further and said, oh, if it was a black woman, they wouldn't have done nothing. I'm like, okay, and we know that black women use police and other agents of chaos as their proxies and shit to punish men that don't bend the fucking knee and shit. Lisa, she brought up the whole thing of, that I heard on this Passport OG's video, when he had that snippet from Green Gorilla where the ignorant woman was on there. And she brought up that metric. She used the same metric as that ignorant ass misandrous woman that they let run over them and shit. She used the same fucking narrative. I want to tell all y'all, like, y'all be, well, fuck y'all and shit. Fuck you, man. All right, you want to know why these black men don't? A lot of them don't have a black woman by their side and shit because like they tell us on all their social media in person to our face, if you ain't shit, you a dusty, and you gotta have all that bullshit before you even talk to their bum ass and shit. The busted box, and everything. The flea market box they got. That's worth all your shit. Okay, right? Jason, he like to ride the fence and shit. He riding that bitch like a cowboy. He needs a white hat and shit. Be slapping his ass with that hat while he bouncing on that bitch. All right? Yeah, I know I'm talking about that shit. You ain't got to ride with me if you don't want to. You want to follow, you want to be a small cog in a big machine and be led around by the fucking nose, or you want to use plain common sense and shit. I reported on the shit. I called it what it was. I said that, white privilege wins again. All right, no doubt about it, man. Ain't nobody down that shit. I hate it with it. Like she always goes soft. You never hear her talking about black women that dated white men. I don't even think she really talked. She probably talked about the Chad Willard thing, back in the day, because they had a black woman being victimized, and she get on top of that shit. But you don't hear her speaking disparagingly about that. And all the motherfuckers that died, the YouTubers that died, that was in, that supposed manosphere, those free agents and shit. They've been sullied and dragged by these goddamn women and shit. We shouldn't have a reaction to it, but we do and shit. It just makes us not want anything to fucking do with them and shit. Right? It makes us want to, I want to say that whole shit about a passport now. It just makes you want to give them the middle finger and just say, fuck it, man. Fuck this supposed community and shit. If you guys can't get out of your social engineering and, your low boiling contempt and your overt misandry and the mistreatment and miseducation of your boys that you created outside of a traditional family construct and shit. Okay? And he always got something nasty to say about men, black men and shit. Yeah, Jonathan Majors was arrogant and had a big ego and shit. I don't care what he said to that white woman, but I know that I saw that motherfucker running away and shit. He got convicted for running away from his abuser and shit. You can't beat that shit with a stick. I can't find a fucking picture of that prosecutor, but I know that a fucking beta male simp was the DA over there. Okay, I know that motherfucker was the DA. All right, all skinfolk ain't kinfolk. I'm reminded of that shit when I listen to Lisa cover this Jonathan Major shit. Okay, then she tried to play it off, but really, I think she snickered a little bit, but you always wait for that dirty ass laugh and shit, unless you're one of these mouth breathers to just follow her blindly. I'm getting fucking tired of this bitch, man. Luckily, YouTube keeps me down. Okay, YouTube keeps me down. They keep me small and shit. Okay, take that how you want to take it and shit. But I call a spade, unintended. All right, call a spade and shit. And the reason that these wealthy black men, these athletes and other people have a white wife is because the black woman wasn't willing to build with them from day one. All they say is you have to have this shit when you show up. So if you get all that shit and then you remember what they said to you, why the fuck would you reward them for that? Why would you put them in a position of high honor in your fucking kingdom and shit when they didn't do anything? That they would just be an ornament in there. And if you're gonna have an ornament and shit, have something that you find aesthetically pleasing. You know, they say America's a free country, but it's not free from black men and shit. All right, this trial proved it. And listen to fucking Lisa Cabrera's, stilted fucking, thoughts on it. Just solidifies that fact because I can find that same sentiment 100 times over right now within 30 fucking minutes. I can find it, and I wouldn't even have to include any of the retarded nerds, the Caucasian nerds that have been railing on what they call woke and shit, or what is actually white people fucking with white people, and using us as human shields, wearing our ethnicity, online like fucking masks, right? It's not us. We don't care, white people. We're sorry about your fucking Star Wars. We don't give a shit. We don't give a shit. Let's not remind you, George Lucas originally wanted Garrett Morris to be Han Solo. Take that how you want it. At least you can kiss my ass. I get fuck you can kiss my ass, dude. What the fuck? And I realize you're just human and shit. A lot of you motherfuckers, your paperwork been slipping up and shit. Okay? I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna reiterate again. The reason you don't see a lot of brothers with stacks of paper with black women and shit, most of the time you see them with black women, those women was with them from day one. And the motherfuckers you see that's not with them and shit, sometimes their mama told them not to marry no sister. Why don't you talk about that? Right? You want to bring up stats about, you know, uh, black men and white women divorce rates being higher and shit. You have to turn that paper over, and you can say that the rates are lower for black women and white men because white men aren't wifing them up like that. They're just taking them in the pound town. Right? Does that fucking hurt? Does that fact hurt? Right? There's also no accountability for the fact that a lot of you motherfuckers opened your legs to the wrong person and you populated this so-called black community with people with no cognitive dissonance, no morality and shit. A life viewpoint from a woman's perspective and shit. A heightened emotional. You know, I could keep going, but fuck it, bros. All right, this is a male space. This is a safe space for men. All right, safe space for men. That being said, all right, I'm done. I'm done for now. Maybe not forever, but I'm done for now. All right. So keep your head on the swivel. Protect your back, and above all else, and exclusively, if nothing else, protect your seed and shit. Do not make it broken women, fallen women, stewards of your family, your children, your future, because that is your legacy, my kings. SYSBM equals save yourself, black man.
This message has been paid for by the Dusties. Yes, the niggas you love to hate.